Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that often gets misunderstood. We live in a world that encourages constant noise. Everyone's got something to say, and everyone wants to be heard. But I'm here to tell you that silence is one of the most powerful tools you'll ever possess. Silence doesn't mean weakness. In fact, it can be one of the most profound demonstrations of strength. In a world that constantly pushes us to express, explain, and defend ourselves, silence is often misinterpreted as passivity or a lack of confidence. But let me tell you, silence is far from that. It's an intentional choice, one that requires wisdom and inner fortitude. Think about it: when someone lashes out at you or challenges you, the immediate response is often to fight back, to say something, anything that will prove you're right. But here's the truth: reacting quickly doesn't always mean you're in control. More often than not, it's a sign that your emotions are controlling you. But the person who can remain silent in the face of provocation, that person has mastered the art of self-control. You see, silence gives you power. It creates a pause, a moment of reflection, both for yourself and for the other person. When you choose not to respond to negativity, criticism, or anger, you're not retreating. Instead, you're holding your ground in a way that speaks volumes. You're saying, I don't need to defend myself because I'm confident in who I am and what I stand for. Silence allows you to conserve your energy for the battles that truly matter. Life is filled with distractions and noise, people trying to pull you into their chaos, into arguments, into situations that have nothing to do with your ultimate goals. But when you're silent, you're choosing to prioritize what's important. You're not wasting your time or your energy on things that won't serve you in the long run. More than that, silence shows your thinking. It demonstrates that you're considering your words carefully, that you're not just speaking to fill the space. When you do speak after a period of silence, your words carry more weight. People listen not because you've been loud or forceful, but because you've been thoughtful and intentional. Silence can be a form of quiet resilience. It's the calm in the storm, the pause before decisive action. It's not about avoiding conflict, but about choosing when and how to engage. Silence says, I have nothing to prove, but I know when it's time to act. And when you act from a place of silent strength, there's no mistaking your power. In silence, you gain clarity to hear your inner voice. Life is noisy. There's always someone talking, something happening, and distractions pulling you in every direction. In the midst of all that external noise, it becomes incredibly difficult to hear the one voice that truly matters, your own. We are constantly bombarded by the opinions, judgments, and expectations of others, and that makes it easy to lose touch with what we think, what we feel, and what we truly want. When you take a step back from all the chaos and embrace silence, something remarkable happens. You begin to tune into your inner voice, the one that often gets drowned out by the noise of the world. It's in this space of quiet that you can truly listen to yourself. You can hear the thoughts and desires that have been buried beneath layers of external influence. And in that silence, you find clarity. Clarity is a rare and valuable thing. It allows you to see your path more clearly, to understand what truly matters to you, and to differentiate between what you want and what others want for you. But that clarity doesn't come from constantly engaging with the outside world. It comes from disengaging, from creating moments of stillness where you can reflect and reconnect with your own mind and heart. In silence, you gain perspective. You start to recognize the difference between the noise of the world and the truth of your inner self. You realize that many of the voices around you, the ones that tell you who you should be, what you should do, and how you should live, are not your own. And when you separate yourself from that noise, your own voice begins to rise to the surface, guiding you toward the life you're meant to live. Silence gives you the space to ask yourself important questions. What do I really want? What is my purpose? Am I on the right path? In the quiet, you can reflect on your goals, your dreams, and your values. You can align yourself with what truly matters to you rather than constantly reacting to what others expect of you. But it's not just about thinking, it's about listening to that quiet whisper inside you that knows what's best for you, Even when the world tries to tell you otherwise, that's the beauty of silence. It strips away the noise, the distractions, and the expectations, leaving you with the clarity to hear your true self loud and clear. Silence can speak louder than words when used with intention. Often we think that communication is all about what we say, how loudly we say it, or how often we make our voices heard. But true power in communication doesn't always come from words. It comes from knowing when to speak and, more importantly, when not to speak. Silence, when used with purpose and thought, can be one of the most profound statements you'll ever make. Think about a moment when someone was arguing with you, expecting you to fight back to defend yourself or to react in some way. But instead of doing that, you chose silence. You chose to hold your ground without saying a word. In that moment, your silence wasn't a sign of submission. It was a declaration. A declaration that you don't need to engage in every argument, that you are in control of yourself, your emotions, and the situation. Silence, in that sense, is a powerful form of communication. It can shift the dynamics of a conversation entirely. When you remain silent in the face of aggression, it forces the other person to reflect on their words, to feel the weight of the silence between you. They might start to wonder why you aren't reacting, what your silence means. And in that wondering, your silence becomes louder than any words could have been. There's a strength in silence that words can never fully capture. Words can be misinterpreted, twisted, or even forgotten. But silence, when used intentionally, lingers. It hangs in the air, leaving room for reflection, for introspection. Silence allows space for the unspoken to be felt. It creates a moment where both parties must confront what is truly happening beneath the surface. When you choose silence, you're not avoiding communication, you're elevating it. You're communicating on a deeper level, one that goes beyond the superficial exchange of words. You're showing that you understand the power of restraint, the wisdom of patience, and the value of holding back when speaking won't serve the moment. Silence also gives you the chance to process your thoughts before you respond. It allows you to measure your words to ensure that when you do speak, your message is clear, concise, and impactful. Words spoken in haste often lack this depth. They can be driven by emotion, anger, or frustration. But words spoken after a moment of silence carry the weight of reflection and intention. In relationships, silence can also show empathy. Sometimes, in the face of someone's pain or struggle, words can feel empty. In those moments, silence is more meaningful. It says, "I'm here with you," without the need for explanations or attempts to fix the situation. The presence of silence can be far more comforting than the wrong words spoken at the wrong time. Silence, used intentionally, communicates confidence. It communicates wisdom. It shows that you're not just reacting, but that you're responding with thoughtfulness and purpose. It says that you understand the value of listening, observing, and waiting for the right moment to speak. And in doing so, silence becomes a tool of tremendous influence, one that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. Being silent is a choice, not a surrender. Too often, silence is misunderstood as giving up or backing down, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Silence is, in fact, one of the most powerful decisions you can make. When you choose silence, it's not because you're incapable of responding, but because you're deliberately choosing not to. And that choice, made from a place of strength, control, and wisdom, can be more effective than any words you might say in the heat of the moment. Choosing to be silent doesn't mean you're weak or that you're letting someone else have the upper hand. In reality, it shows that you are in control of the situation. You're not allowing yourself to be dragged into unnecessary arguments, drama, or distractions. Instead, you're taking a step back, assessing the situation, and deciding that at that moment, words won't serve your purpose. You're not surrendering to the noise around you, you're rising above it. In any conflict, there's always an urge to react quickly. We feel the need to defend ourselves, to prove our point, to make sure that we're heard. But more often than not, that knee-jerk reaction doesn't help. It adds fuel to the fire, escalating the situation rather than resolving it. When you choose silence, you're making a conscious decision not to engage in that cycle. You're not letting the other person's words control your emotions or dictate your actions. You're showing that you are the master of your own mind and you'll speak when you are ready on your terms, not anyone else's. Think about this: when two people are in a heated argument, the one who remains calm and silent often commands more respect. That silence isn't a retreat, it's a statement. It says, I am confident enough in myself that I don't need to respond to every provocation. It says, I'm not here to prove anything to anyone, and in many cases, that silence can be far more powerful than any rebuttal. Because silence, when chosen intentionally, is a demonstration of your inner strength and composure. There's also a strategic side to silence. In the art of communication, timing is everything. Sometimes remaining silent allows you to observe, to listen, and to learn more about the situation. It gives you the opportunity to gain insight into the other person's intentions, their emotions, and their mindset. By holding your silence, you can gather valuable information that will help you respond more effectively later. You're not rushing into action without thinking. You're being patient, calculating, and waiting for the right moment to speak. Choosing silence can also be a form of protection. There are times when engaging in certain conversations or debates will only drain your energy and pull you away from your goals. Not every situation requires your input. Sometimes silence is the best way to preserve your peace of mind, your focus, and your emotional well-being. It's not about avoiding conflict, but about deciding which battles are worth fighting and which ones are best left alone. Silence, in this way, is a powerful shield that protects you from unnecessary harm. And let's not forget that silence can be a sign of maturity. It shows that you've grown beyond the need to always have the last word or to always be right. You've learned that not every situation requires a response, and that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to remain silent. It takes strength to walk away from a confrontation when you know you could easily engage. It takes courage to hold back when others expect you to react. So remember, being silent is never about surrendering or giving in. It's a deliberate choice, a reflection of your inner power and self-discipline. It's about knowing when to engage and when to step back. When you embrace the strength that comes with choosing silence, you'll find that you're not only more in control of yourself, but also more in control of the situation around you. You're not surrendering, you're winning on your own terms.